Okay, hello and welcome back. I school just got in the way for a while there. Um, but I hope you haven't listened too much, or maybe you have. We are continuing with my playthrough of When the Night Comes by Lunaris Games. There are some DLCs that come after it, so once I finish the main game, I will be live streaming those as well, because they're just too wonderful to miss. All of these you can buy at itch.io. I don't remember the prices because, yeah. And you can also become a Patreon and support them as they produce other games. They do have another game that they're working on. Well, two other games. One is they are releasing chapter by chapter called Eric Kingdom, which is really fun. And then the other, they'll be starting a Kickstarter for that fairly soon, and hoping to release that as a complete game. Apparently, they also released When the Night Comes as chapter by chapter, but by the time I found out about it, the main game was already finished. So, just as a quick reminder, because it has been a while, I am playing, the player's character is called the Hunter, and you can pick your first name and your surname and your pronouns. And then any of these people in the art here are potential love interests. So that's always nice. And the story itself, I have already picked the love interest. That would be Piper here. And you just defeated the big bad. And now you are, and at the end of the chapter that I just finished, which was chapter, I think it was chapter 6, you fainted from blood. So now we are moving on to the next chapter and finding out what happened. And I just realized I was not, there we go. Yeah, this is Piper. This is the love interest. I'm fine. I was looking at the wrong screen. So here we go. Yeah, just finished chapter 6. Now we are starting chapter 7. So here we go. Hunter? Who's saying Hunter? Who's talking to me? That. Hunter, snap out of it. Post myself on my little days, finding tiny blue eyes staring at me. Well, Piper has blue eyes. And amused kind blue eyes. Are we talking about the same person here? No, we are not. Harry, are you quite finished daydreaming? I smile at him because as much as Harry tries to be annoyed with me, he's adorable when he's angry. That sounds familiar. Okay, so this is James. Harry and James, not myself. I am Major Addington. Very sorry, sir. I love that emphasis on sir. Lash. There's that little mouth twitch and attempt to stifle a smile. I know him too well. Like humble as I tried to be, Harold Addington III cannot resist me. Stop that. Stop what? I'm not doing anything. This is such an old married couple thing to do. Besides, loud, pitiful. Yes, you are. You're looking at me like that. How many times do I have to remind you that I'm your superior, Hunter Lane? I find contemplation just twisting the knife a little more, making him squirm. Also, notice Harry's outfit is slightly different from what we saw before. Maybe a few more might do the trick. Wink! We both laugh when he swats my arm, but Harry is quick to straighten himself up, ever the professional. I have an assignment, something out of town. It might take us a few days, if we're lucky. He looks at the papers that have been deposited on his desk. A pretty sizable pile for a simple missive, by the look of it. A little getaway, just the two of us? Harry rolls his eyes, guessing. If you consider hunting a rogue clan of witches romantic. For a hunter and an enforcer? Yes. Then he looks at me, eyes narrowed. You do, don't you? I shrug, stepping forward, pushing the papers from beneath his fingertips. I rest my hand upon his waist, crowding close until he has to sit upon the surface of his desk. Any time spent alone with you is a time that I cherish, my love. No. The flush that sweeps across his cheeks is charming, as always, and when I lean in to brush his lips with my own, gone is the stiff formality of Enforcer General Addington, and in its place is the man that I love. No. My partner in all things. Now I'm melting. My soulmate. We're both in need of some time away from here, don't you think? Even if it does involve us being knee-deep in angry witches. Knee-deep. Sorry, that's a joke that I read. Sweet, talk me some more, please. I don't know how I ever resisted you. I raised an accusatory brow. You didn't. He huffs quietly, but my statement is irrefutable. So smug. Unconsciously, we both cast a door glance. It's closed, and I lean in to lose myself in his kiss once again. They say that nothing lasts forever, but all that felt like to me was a lie told by people who never truly found love like I did. I knew that Harry was special when I first met him. We found a connection immediately, only to have it torn asunder when he failed the initiation. Oh boy. But even within an ocean between us, and both of us sent on such differing paths, we still found our way back to one another. 5 years, 10 years, 15. Partnerships forged out of love, trust, strength. We were unstoppable. I'd do anything for Harry. But in the end, that's why it all began to go wrong. Wait, what? You shouldn't leave. Not right now. The people need you. Notice the outfit change, the scars, and James's outfit has changed too, and his sash is a different color as well. I need you. I have little choice. Such meetings cannot be postponed. Don't pull the I need you card. Ouch. Things are under control now, James. Besides, just a few days. I'll be back before you know it. His smile is as bright as it's always been. It doesn't reach his eyes. They are cold. Tired. Shit. That's not good. Either way, I can't help but blame myself for Harry's recent boldness. I've always encouraged him to think outside the box, to stop being so rigid when it comes to following the rules. That's not good. And now, please, Harry, it has to stop. What has to stop? He averts his gaze, twisting his wedding band, a nervous gesture. I know you think you're doing the right thing, but it's not worth it. None of this is worth it. What isn't worth it? I step closer, taking both of his hands in my own, tugging at him to look at me. He refuses, eyes still staring longingly out of the window. That's not a good thing when your own partner won't look at you. I love you too much to let this destroy you. Think of everything you've achieved. If you throw that all away just to make some numbers look good, it's not about numbers, and you know it. It's about saving people's lives, about stopping those things from overwhelming us until we're nothing but deposits, closing his eyes. Then he carefully passed his hands from mine. Oh boy, that's definitely not good. It's about doing what I swore to do, fulfilling my duty as protector of this country. So how far have you gone to do that? Protecting you. I can protect myself. Except you didn't, did you, James? Remember, James is the ghost that the hunter has contacted the hunters. And James is actually the one who encouraged the hunter to speak to Harry, who revealed the truth about who James was. Harry flinches at my words, exhaling sharply. We'll discuss this further upon my return, but I must go. The carriage will be waiting for me. Do not share this, Harry. You're further away from perfecting it than you think, and you know it. At that, he smiles, shaking his head. He steps close to cup his hand to my jaw. You've always underestimated me, my love. He kisses me, and something about the way he does so makes me believe it's for the last time. After his departure, I sat at our kitchen table and wrote him a letter before my nightly patrol. Wait. When Harry showed us the picture of him and James, there was a comment about there being a letter in his wallet when he put the picture back. I wonder if this is that same letter. I knew it wouldn't make it to him before his meeting. In fact, I wasn't even going to send it. I just had a feeling. Hunters and their feelings. My dearest Harry, as much as I'd love to muse about how I long for you to return, to lay with me in our bed, I'm afraid this letter comes with a less light-hearted message. That's not a good opening. I'm worried. These experiments are troubling me, and I've been unable to sleep soundly since you showed me last week. Shit. I fear something terrible will happen that we won't be able to hide, that you won't be able to recover from. Why would they want to hide it? Is this really what they cursed all of us with all these years ago? I always knew we were different, that something within us made us stronger, but does this mean we're going to find out about the initiation? Children, Harry. We were children. Think about that before you continue with this. Think about our intentions and why no one has attempted this before. Okay, this is getting scary. I'll be leaving for a hunt this evening, missing you every step of the way. My power goes without you standing strong by my side. All I ask of you is that you slow down, perfect things before you dare to implement your plan. I'm not sure how much longer I can sit back and watch, just waiting for it all to go wrong. What all to go wrong? I love you, and I just want my husband back. We can make it through anything as long as we have each other. Now that's sappy, but true. Always yours, James. It kind of reminds me of in 1776, it's a musical about the sign of the Declaration of Independence. We see John and Abigail interact via his imagination, and they use actual letters between the two. And each interaction they would end by saying that they are each other. Pretty much what Sam said here. So I don't know why that just occurred to me now. I've played this so many times. The graveyard is quiet, peaceful, the air cool, and the sky clear. The crunch of gravel under my boots is strangely comforting, and I feel a sense of calm washing over me as I stop in front of a newly placed headstone. I crouch down, tracing the carved letters with my fingertips. James Addington Lane, grave hunter, loving husband, cherished friend. God damn it. I haven't seen this yet. I stand, vision blurring, a searing yet familiar pain in my temple as I turn and see a tall figure before me, silhouetted by bright moonlight. Oh, we're ourselves again. They would put the hunter pet first, wouldn't they? Oh, now we're face to face with him, so to speak. Okay, doke. James steps closer, standing by my side. I can talk. Really? I stare in his grave a glance. The second you become a hunter, it trumps everything else. You're not even really considered a human first anymore. Is that bitterness? Gee, I wonder what I'm going to ask. Any input? I look at James, studying his features, registering that he's here, flesh and bone and alive? Or am I dead? He shakes his head. No, but you're somewhere in between, just like me. Ah, so he hasn't fully passed on. Just like you? I look down and press my hand over my ribs. I come to a tendon. My armor is jagged and torn, my clothes saturated with blood. Oh, that's right. I took a bad hit. Probably didn't even feel it at the time. Then I look back at James, his brow is furrowed, and I see a shadow emerging from the blackened tree line behind him. A familiar sight, lumbering, misshapen, not human. Behind you. My words are monotone, though I intended for them to be loud, a warning. My throat feels tight, and I'm once again stuck where I stand. Just like when we first saw the creature. He shakes his head, ignoring the looming threat. Dark eyes focused on me, and me alone. It's not real. You killed him after all. Him? You simply did what I couldn't, what I should have done. I froze, too afraid to hurt someone I knew. As a hunter, you know you cannot hesitate, cannot second guess. If you do, people die. He's right. They teach us to be ruthless in our decisions. If it can kill you, you kill it first. They turn you into killing machines. It thrilled me, I thought. I thought that was how it got you. He shakes his head. I saw. He pauses, mouth agape, as if he wants to say it, but something stops him. You saved them, Robin. So your job isn't done just yet. I stare at him blankly, trying to comprehend where I am, why he's here, just everything. What did they do to us? He simply smiles. It's somber, almost pained. It's easier if I show you. And now we find out about the initiation. Oh no. I stare up at the familiar building before me, a bitter taste blooming upon my tongue. I grew up here, learned how to kill, how to survive. They promised us the world, promised us we'd be heroes. As a naive child, I might have even believed them, and yet, all we are now is pawns. Feels different now, doesn't it? I was so excited to be chosen. Most of us are. They make us feel like passing the initiation is some kind of coveted honor. It's not an honor. Then what? James extended his hand, turning his palm skyward. I see stars, not unlike the ones that cover my own skin, and he looks up. A curse. Suddenly the sky turns an inky black. The moon is full, hanging low. The stars are sparse, but bright. With a heavy sigh, James turns to me. Are you ready? Ready for what? To finally find out how hunters are made. Bullshit. I was right. Oh no! Of course I was right. I've played this before. I think back to the comment Finn made the other day, smiling to myself. I heard they would grow on trees. James laughed, the sound pleasantly rough. If only it were that simple, Robin. What do you remember of your initiation? I stare at him blankly, my memories non-existent, past waking up in my bed the next day. Feeling stronger, feeling different, feeling better. He tilts his head at me, smiling. As I suspected, they're good at making you forget what they need you to, aren't they? You would have been taken into the courtyard at night, right here where we stand. They then would have asked you to take your oath, to pledge yourself to the cause. A witch would have offered you a vial of something which they'd then expect you to ingest. I looked down at my hand. Something cold was in my palm. A vial. Just as James said. The liquid inside is black, viscous, glowing. What did they do to it? I remember, I think. They say those that fail experience a great discomfort, vomiting, convulsions. Well, it's still not known what makes it different to them. I uncorked the vial, bringing the mixture to my nose. It smelled bitter, like copper. Copper. Close my eyes, my heart pounding. Then the words roll off my tongue, as if possessed. I swear that no night will be traversed in fear, that morning will be a promise and not a hope. I swear I shall lay down my life in the cause of my duty, to protect the vulnerable from the creatures of this realm and any beyond it. Until my final breath, I pledge myself to you, body, mind, and soul. Who makes children say that? I remember the way it tasted, the way it made me retch and fall to my knees. I dug my fingers into the dirt until they bled, skin cracked and nails split. It burned my throat and my body fought hard to reject it, but I was lost. When I opened my eyes, the vial is gone. Not dead, nor not of the living. Find them and reveal to them the strength of ascension. We summon you to reach your wizened hands to them. Let them be the vessel that will carry us onward. It is written that this power is our right to wield. Give to their body what it separates man from the vulnerability of the flesh. Be that which may push the boundaries of our mortal coil. The blood of the vampire, creature of the night, consumer of life. Impart your keen awareness and resilience, but not be shun of the light or endlessness of life. The blood of the Fae, tricksters incarnate, denizens between realms, impart your cunning and agile grace, but leave your weakness to the elements. The blood of the demon, purveyors of evil, guardians of the realms, impart your strength, but not your anger. The blood of the lichen, predators under the moon, beasts of instinct, impart your primal power, but not the madness within. Blood. Why did it always have to be blood? That's how it's done. My hands shake, my breathing quickening, and James watches me with a concerned gaze as the realization washes over me. I'm just like them. We all are. The things that we were trained to kill are a part of us. They made us monsters. He nods, and I gather it's been a burden, knowledge they've carried for far too long. Fight fire with fire, as they say. Simple human wouldn't stand a chance against the beast we face. The early hunters were true warriors who fought and died too quickly for us to stand a chance. An order was formed, people who had known of the creatures' existence before the day of revelation, people who had befriended them, worshipped them even. They formed the agency, the Thirsting Forces. They studied the way vampires can affect us, the way lichens can curse us. It's simple biology, a touch of magic, and they have a carefully curated weapon on their hands. I do not know how long it took them to perfect it, and I dread to think how many lives were lost. Too many. And it was truly only a matter of time until someone took it too far. I just never thought it would happen in the place I called home. I look at him, and he waits expectantly, watching me with a furrowed brow. Someone in Lunaris. Slowly, all the pieces begin to fall into place. Piero, Alcar, Aya, Azazel. Creatures captured needlessly. Hunters missing and dying. Oh, God. I need to go back. I need to find out who and stop them. To protect. I ball my hands into fists, my heart a hammer in my chest, my head spinning. Something is wrong. James reaches out with wide eyes, but his hand passes through me. Breathe, Robin. My vision blurs and I feel everything around me falling away into darkness. Something is calling out to me, a force pulling, tugging, forceful in its desire to bring me back. James. He looks defeated, but he stands a little taller. So he still smiles, and my heart aches for him. A fallen hero killed simply for being kind. You have so much left to do. It's not your time. Not yet. Of all the wrong you've done, you did well in choosing you, Hunter Locke. You made me proud. Made all of them proud. It would have been such an honor. It would have been such an honor to fight by your side. Honestly, I can talk. James stands stoic, stalwart. I'm still not certain where I am, but regardless, he remains with poise, somewhere in between, still as strong as when he was living. Something tells me he's waiting. For what? I'm not entirely sure. I hope that whatever it is, he finds it. Finds his peace. Tell Harry that I love him. No. Then, with a smile, he slowly fades away. When I open my eyes, I see moonlight painting the unfamiliar bed I'm in with lazy, dreamy striations. I sit up, my brain still fogged from my dream, or whatever the hell that was. I try to figure out where I am. I wonder, who did we romance again? Then the quiet sound of breathing pulls my attention. I spot a blanketed figure curled up awkwardly in a chair on the other side of the room. Piper. Though I loathe to wake her, I drag my aching limbs from the comfort of the bed and tiptoe towards her sleeping form. I place my hand upon her shoulder, but before I can utter her name, she shot up out of the chair in a flash, her fingers curled tightly around my wrist, teeth bared. Oh my gosh, so pretty. And I learned a new trick. Now we can see her beautiful pajamas as much as we can. What the fuck? Robin, you're awake. I offer her a smile, my pulse storming wildly against her fingertips. The fingertips are still gripping me rather tightly. She's so... I like. Piper? She watches my rapidly numbing fingers wiggle helplessly, quickly releasing me with a relatively awkward laugh. Shit, sorry. Oh, that beautiful smile. You should know not to creep up on your sleeping hunters. She's right. I should. Quiet moment passes between us, and I can't help but feel elated to see her, to see that she's okay. It's then that I really register where I am, who stands in front of me, and it takes every ounce of my wavering willpower not to grab her and reel her in, to never let her go again. As if she's read my thoughts. What's the matter? You spent 2 whole days unconscious, I nursed you back to health, and all you can do is stand here and gawp at me like a fish? And there's the Piper we know and love. Where's the love? I just going to do anything less than smoosh her. Without waiting for me to respond past a sly smile, Piper fists the front of my shirt, yanking me flush with her chest as she catches my lips in a feverish kiss. She tastes like mint and a hint of spice rub, like a little slice of heaven. Yep. When we break apart, she exhales a sharp laugh, her eyes shining in the almost darkness as she tips her chin to meet my gaze. I was worried about you, annoyingly. I sigh, feigning indifference. I should hope you were. I nearly died, you know. Then I lean in and whisper, didn't I? She swats my chest, and I do my best to pretend it didn't hurt. It did. Yep. If not for Ezra, you would have. A wound like that is a death sentence. So lucky that we know the best healer in Espria, right? I contemplate that statement for a moment, fumbling to reach beneath my shirt, to press my hand to the place where I still vividly remember blood spilling against my fingers. Piper watches me with a raised brow, smiling to herself when I find nothing but smooth skin, not even a scratch. I owe Ezra my thanks, it would appear. She shrugs. Maybe a fruit basket. I exhale sharply, my dream coming crashing down upon me, hitting me like a fully grown chimera. I take Piper's hand and guide her over to the bed, prompting her to take a seat beside me when I fell upon the mattress. Time for the bad news. What's the matter? I have a few things we need to discuss. I had a dream. At least, I think it was a dream. Regardless, I found out some things that are going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. In everyone's, actually. She laces our fingers together, so affectionate, even though I suspect she's as terrified as I am telling her this. It's okay. Go on. I had a dream. Maybe something more, I suppose? But I saw James, and it felt so real. Like he was right there in front of me. Oh, James. What did he say? Now, which one do we talk about first? Let's go with the initiation. He took me to the academy, the one I grew up in. He took me through our initiation. I'd forgotten everything, almost as if my memory had been wiped. Because that's exactly what happened. There's no other explanation. I'm sure they whacked us on the head for good measure after whatever the fuck they did with us. Ah, Piper, so classy. I carefully gauged her reaction as my next words fell from my mouth, tightening my grip on her hand, as if I'm scared she might flee. The ritual, I take a deep breath. They fed us blood, Piper. Vampire, demon, lichen, fae. That's what made us what we are. Piper's hand begins to shake where I hold her. She shakes her head once, then her expression sours. I think you must be mistaken. That can't. She takes a deep breath, eyes closed, and she exhales. Sorry, I suppose I always had an inkling, you know? The things we can do, the way that we're so connected to all that abnormal shit, in tune with it, with them, it almost makes sense, as nefarious as it is. This information is dangerous, and I think someone here has taken advantage of it. Piper nods, her expression stoic, but stern. James heavily implied that I pause. If it's true, I think it is. The implications could be beyond terrifying. I almost dread uttering the words. I think I know who it is. I think I do, too. And, of course, gotta tell her about these two. I also saw Harry and James together, as if James was trying to tell me something by showing me pieces of his memories of them. They were so happy together. There was such an easy mutual admiration and affection. James was the best mentor I could have ever dreamed of having. He shared his knowledge so freely and made me feel at home when I was just a scared kid. I watch her face light up when she thinks about her fallen friend, her hero, but the jarring truth comes back like whiplash. James wrote Harry a letter that night, the night he died, asking him to think about what he was doing. Piper tenses, her brow furrowed, and then her shoulders bump into defeat. She has a bitter laugh, shaking their head. There? That should be her. Her head in blatant disappointment. Yeah, fucking course. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? All of these secrets were lies. I interrupt, trying to stay on track. James holds a lot of guilt over what happened, over him not killing the creature when he had the chance. He hesitated, and you and I both know that isn't something hunters can afford to do. Hesitation means death. James was the one who used to preach that more than any other. He'd seen too many cases of kindness getting his comrades killed. For him to hesitate, I nod, remembering James's words, his disappointment in himself. The thing that killed him, or the person that killed him, he knew them. That's why he hesitated. That's why he died. I can almost see the cogs turning in her mind as she processes that, the realization washing over her as it did me. Grateful as I am that I'm not alone in this strange uncertainty that settles in the pit of my stomach, it pains me that we had to find out this way. After we've been living our lives in almost blissful ignorance, years under the service of an agency that betrayed us the second we were in their care. I know it's a lot to process. You can say that again, but we have each other. We're both a little bit monstrous, right? She nudges me with her shoulder, grinning from ear to ear in that playful, beautiful way that lights up the entire room. And this is why she makes me melt. Right. Ugh. What? Dude's not being the one to tell August. My eyes widen almost comically, and Piper laughs at my obvious disdain. You have to be alert at all times, rookie mistake. I'm grateful for the much-needed tension breaker, and Piper is an expert at it. She leans a little closer, her body so warm where it presses flesh against my own. She traces lazy circles upon the back of my hand with her thumb. The silence that hangs between us is comfortable. After a little while alone with our thoughts, Piper sits up straight, regarding me with a curious gaze. Can we just forget about all of this? Just for a little while? Come morning, we'll have to start all this shit again, and it's been so nice having a little bit of peace from it all. As much as I hated you being all unconscious and everything, I playfully roll my eyes, pressing my hand to my chest as if wounded. I'm glad my suffering made you happy. No, but you make me happy. Let's just savor it, yeah? While we can. The way she looks at me. She leans in, chin tipped, eyes sparkling. Now, I have been torn about doing this because I know which decision I want to go with, but I also know that the art in the following chapter will be a little risque. So I'm really torn about whether I should go ahead and sleep with Piper or not sleep with her. I mean, it's sweet either way because she's spending the night with Piper, with her husband. Okay, I'm gonna save it here, and I will do the sleep with Piper. But before my next stream, I will do this one, the not sleep with Piper, and then continue the next day with the not sleep with her part, so that the art isn't risque, but we still get the lovely writing at sleeping with Piper, provided I remember. Because the art for the next chapter with the sleep with Piper, that's kind of borderline for Twitch. So here we go. So we've got all night, don't we? Piper hums a soft little noise, one of appreciation as she fixes me with that darkened sapphire gaze. A wicked grin that tells me I'm in for it, crossing her lips. She casts me the window a glance, surveying the moon that hangs low in the sky. A few more hours of darkness before we have to face reality. We'll need it, the things I want to do with you. She hooks a leg around mine and flips us with a rogue's grace, and I fall back, my head hitting her downy pillow with a gentle thud. She settles over me, straddling my waist, her freckles bright like stardust against rosy cheeks. Her dark hair hangs in a curtain about her beautiful face when she leans in. The commanding palms lay flat upon the center of my chest. It's a wordless command to stay down, and even if my breath wasn't caught in my throat, it would be hard to disobey her. She presses down upon my sternum, smirking when my heart flutters beneath her touch. I look up at her with a dazed sort of need, resting my hand upon her thigh, pushing up, up. My fingers brush over a scar, tracing the jagged line of it. She bites her lip when I find another, and repeat the action. Are you playing connect the dots? Might take a while. You've got time. The wickedness that builds between us slowly transmogrifies into something earnest when Piper leans closer, her weight resting upon my chest. I can breathe her in now, fill my senses with her, and Piper leans in to brush her lips against mine, as close as a kiss, but not close enough. I think I'm falling in love with you. Before I could process her statement, she kisses me, slow and sweet. I shudder at the first brush of our tongues, already reaching to rest my hands upon her hips, anchoring myself to her. She almost looks afraid when she pulls away, staying close enough for her breath to be warm against my skin, close enough for me to still taste her upon my tongue. I might not be sure of many things, but of her I am certain. I've already fallen. I love you, Piper. Beautiful eyes. Her eyes widen and Piper rolls away with a breathless laugh. No, I got it. Just drink in this beauty before us. Those eyes, the glow, just gorgeous. And you can even see the freckles. She rises up onto her knees beside me, the moonlight that bursts through the window a halo around her, illuminating her in an otherworldly glow. Her lips are kiss-full, her hair tousled and gorgeous, and though my heart sank at the loss of contact, I can see that she's smiling. Bright, beautifully infectious. Take off your clothes. I obey without hesitation, watching her watch me with hungry eyes, her gaze setting my skin alight. She bites her lip when she crawls closer, pressing her lips to my ear, her voice a low and breathy rasp. I love you too, I cut my hand to her cheek, and she comes above me once again, and she leans into my touch, covering my hand with her own. I know. I'm not sure if they meant that to be a reference to Star Wars, but to me, it is. It seems impossible that I found something like this here, of all places, amongst all this death and deception. When I look at her, I feel alive, complete, and if anything dares to try and come between us, well, it will suffer the wrath of two unstoppable forces. Finally, we both give in to temptation, taking our time to learn each other, to savor this moment of peace we've been granted. The sheets are torn from around my waist as Piper settles between my shamelessly spread legs, with deep, dark, sapphire eyes gazing at me through long lashes. I think I'm done for, and I welcome it. No hiding. I want to see you. I groan as Piper leans in and nips at the soft flesh of my throat. Her clever fingers walking agonizingly slowly to the place where I so desperately need them to be. You're a tease. Her laugh is delicious and raspy, utterly wicked. It makes me shudder. Joe? Patience, darling. Piper takes it slow at first, taking her sweet time to peck me apart. Her mouth and her touch are every bit as deadly as her blade. When she finally decides I've had enough, when she's hungry for more, from me, I think I may very well succumb to this woman. She smirks against my sweat-slick skin, her fingers twisting in my hair. That's it, love. Breath catching, lips crushed to mine, and the bone-deep love that I feel for this woman sends me hurtling helplessly over the edge. With a ragged cry of my name, Piper swiftly follows. End of chapter. Okay, save here. So I am going to stop the stream here. I'm not quite ready to stop for the night. So what I'm going to do is, after a quick bio break, I will go back and replay it as if I had a clip with her. And then I will start streaming again with the beginning of chapter 8, because there's a part that I really want to get to tonight. So, quick break, and I will be back shortly.